Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business and the SillyVille editions. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, streamed across 5-ish different platforms: YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, Twitch, and occasionally DLive, and maybe Joshu TV if we can figure it out. But we'll go ahead and get jumping on into the news for today. Last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, we reported on the what Wired called the shameware apps, what other people call the accountability apps, and Google Play kicked them off of the Play Store. This is accountable to you and Covenant Eyes. You can no longer get them on the Google Play Store because Wired's stupid hit piece, because Wired thinks that pornography is a good thing. And FYI, if you watch pornography and you're like, it's just pornography, no big deal, you just have not yet realized the havoc it has wreaked in your life. You are not quite there yet. I've had a number of people seek my advice on getting off of this nonsense. One person wanted me to install one of these apps on the phone, and we did. Why? It's not like these apps, by the way, they're not on your phone mysteriously. They're not like spouse stockingware. They're none of that. Every one of these apps, every one of them, there's a notification at the top in the notification bar that tells you it is installed. It is there for a person that says, I struggle with this. I want help. Will you help me? And then the person goes out and they find a friend that can hold them accountable. They install the application. And then I, as the accountability person, I would give them my email address and I would enter a password. The phone would not connect to the internet if the thing was not on. And the thing could not be turned off without the passkey that only I had. And depending on which one of the services you're using, if you get onto a site that is in the block list, then the accountability partner receives an email about it. Why? Well, because believe it or not, people struggle with a lot of problems and some people want to get off. This is why I am not a pure libertarian. This is why I think that Pennsylvania went off its rockers with starting to put alcohol not only in the grocery stores, but everywhere, front and center. And you can't, like, it got so bad, I stopped going to my favorite grocery store because they had a food court. They put a giant alcohol store in between the food cart and the tables you sit at. So if you have children and you want to buy something at the food court and sit down and eat with your children, you had to walk your children through a liquor store to get there. That is not the type of thing we need, because there's people that are like, I am an alcoholic. I struggle with this. I don't want to see it in my day-to-day life. And these people are making it so hard to put it in front of you. Well, when you have these apps available to you to download and put on your device, so willing friend that you guys both are aware of can keep you accountable to what you're doing on your phone, this helps people. But because of Wired's stupid left-wing liberal trash and then spamming and everybody spamming Google, Google decides to pull these off. Of course, because on Android you can still sideload things, you can actually download the app directly from their website. So it's not like you can't ever use these again. But this is just one more attack and assault against, people that want to take responsibility for themselves. Particularly those people like, I goofed up bad in my past. I want to take responsibility for myself in the future. Can you help me? Now, Google is complicit in preventing people. And this is why I think we just need to go back to dumb phones. We need to trash these smartphones, just go back to dumb phones, I think. I don't know. Eventually I'll get there. Now, another factor, though, is that this wouldn't necessarily be required if people could actually edit and manipulate their phone's operating systems. This is why I like Lineage. I can't access any of these bad sites on any of my phones, accidentally or intentionally, because I have blocked them all, because I can manage my host file. But, thanks to Wired for standing in the way to make more porn-addicted people, as they are booting off accountability apps that do not hide themselves in the operating system. They actually all indicate and notify that they are there. They're just there to help you if you want it. All right. Do you have an Intel laptop? Be warned, a new Linux bug can literally break your screen. So this is 5.19.12. There is a bug where if you have a laptop with integrated Intel GPU, it triggers a power sequencing issue that can damage the screen. The only Linux distros that had this rolled out were Arch, Fedora, and OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. So if you are on that, you want to upgrade to 5.19.13, or if you have one of those and you're pushing an upgrade, make sure you do not upgrade to the kernel 5.19.12. It may cause issues with your computer. So just be aware of that. How that slipped through, you can blame it on all of the diversity hires inside of some of these coding. You know, Lord forbid we have people that actually know what they're doing. All right. Well, would you want to share your groceries with your neighbors? Well, this guy actually, he started his app a few years back, and now it's becoming more popular because people are, you know, there's a big crunch on food, and some people have way too much of it. But it doesn't make any sense to me why. I think this is somebody found it and they just decided to do an article or promotion, or this guy reached out to tell them, and it's like, it's a great deal. But the reality is this really... It's interesting because it's a grocery sharing app. So you create your account on the grocery sharing app. The free one will allow you to list like 10 items, the paid version up to like 60 different items. And basically it is an online app with an online pantry of everything you have in your house. And then you can share with a social network with your neighbors or friends or whatever else. And it's like, oh, I picked up, 17 boxes of macaroni and cheese. I won't possibly eat them all. You can be like, hey, I have these. So you can sell or trade your food with your friends and neighbors. And so, but they say, of course, you can't sell homemade food. You can't sell anything that is expired, which is the hilarious part, because in the lead into the article, they even say in here, we have 1.3 billion tons of wasted food items because things expire. Like, do you guys actually throw away expired food? Like, if this box of macaroni and cheese expires, I get news for you. This thing's safe to eat through the apocalypse, okay? It has an expiration date, but yeah, you can probably eat that thing in 20 years. It may not taste the best, but you can. So basically they're saying, hey, people forget about the food. The food's gone expired. So what do we do about this 1.3 billion tons of food that's wasted every year? Well, use Resellery, a pantry tracker app and online marketplace, aims to reduce food waste with an array of features. Of course, you can't sell your expired food. So what are we talking about? How does this save anything or anybody? If you didn't realize it was back there, I got news for you. If you do not realize something is back in your pantry about to expire, maybe you need to look in your pantry rather than look at your phone. Just a thought. But in Resellery, users can log their recent food purchases, manage grocery lists, and see virtual pantries from other users in their area, as well as sell unused grocery items in their neighbors. Users can also invite friends and family to share what food is in their virtual pantry. Startup hopes its app helps consumers keep track when the food in their kitchen/pantry expires and discover what food they can buy from neighbors in the grocery app. So take note of that paragraph. When it expires. But of course, it comes down here at the very bottom. Let's see, where was it at? Okay. Maybe obvious to some, but Resellery users are not allowed to sell homemade food items already opened, rotten food, or items past their expiration date. See, this is just an advertisement. This isn't much more. But here we are advertising it, I guess. You're welcome. Daniel Abrams, the founder of this, recommends users use reasonable judgment from buying food with people they just met online. You think? I mean, really, I'm just in the habit of going to weird strangers on the internet and buying their random boxes of macaroni and cheese. How many people are going to die from like strychnine being put inside this stuff? I don't know. There's a subscription option, of course, for $2.99 a month or $16.99 a year. You can add more than 60 items to their pantry, 60 plus items to their grocery list, and more than 25 items to their marketplace, and access unlimited number of pantries made by other community members. Lord help us. This is what our shopping has been devolved into. Check, please. I would like out of the human race. I mean, just plan your pantry, get a bunch of things, and cycle through your food. And here's another tip. Get food that doesn't have barcodes on it. Like this box of mac and cheese, I eat maybe one of these a month, maybe, because I don't like eating prepared food. I just don't have time tonight to make something real. And hey, this is my junk food. It's either this or fast food, and I already have this, and I don't want to spend the money. All right, well, power beaming comes of age. Another Lord help us all. Power beaming could change the way we power everything from satellites to mobile phones and reduce carbon emissions. The idea, just like Tesla's plan, not Tesla the car company, but Tesla the crazy mad scientist who may have allegedly destroyed an entire blotch of forest somewhere quite accidentally, or if you've watched The Prestige, made 7,000 cats. But basically the idea here is you have the satellites are beaming the energy to point specific places. So, okay, you got a car and the car has died because, you have an electric car in California that you're not allowed to charge your electric car. So your car dies on the side of the road. Well, rather than calling a tow truck, you just call up the satellite and the satellite will accept power from the power company and beam power directly to your car. You do realize if you're beaming high frequencies of electricity to your car in such a way that's going to charge that, it's going to impact your brain chemistry. This is the beginning phases of mind control. Isn't that interesting? Where's my hat? I'm sitting on my tinfoil hat. Oh, well. Global need for power to provide ubiquitous connectivity through 5G, 6G, and smart infrastructure is rising. No, I don't know of any smart city that's really taking off. Most people look at this going, yeah, that's weird. But, in theory, though, they're working on ways to beam power different places. This is terrifying because, I think it was Eugene, Oregon. They have actually done some possible stuff like this in the past, and it caused a lot of people to get serious, unknown and unmistaken, head injuries. Same types of things we're seeing in some of the embassies around the world right now. Very similar technology. Maybe this is one that we don't rush full-fledged into. Just a thought. I don't know. Well, the EU's USB-C mandate approval puts pressure on Apple to replace the Lightning port with the USB-C for 2024. And, of course, in the standards, it also means laptops in 2026 will require to have USB-C charging. I don't know. I am so conflicted over this. Obviously, the higher power USB-C, which I completely disagree with, is certainly enough to power a computer. But do you know, your standard USB-C is 5 volt. You cannot even charge a laptop battery on that. You'd have to use the higher power ones like you get with an Apple, like a current Mac right now, a few other things. And I think, isn't that also funny? Mac is the only major computer that does do USB-C charging. They just won't put it in their phone. Of course, EU wants that everywhere by 2026, and I think that might cause a radical change. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I think that before you have a low power and a high power cable that uses the same ports with the imbecility of our modern society, I think it might be better to change the port for the new version high powered one. So I do not agree with the idea that you're going to have the high voltage and the low voltage USB-Cs and they all look the same and feel the same, because they are completely different. And when you start mixing and matching power in that format that you do not know what you're doing, you are going to cause a lot of fires. I find this mostly ridiculous. I mean, let them have whatever type of charger port they want. And if you want a phone with a proprietary charger port, that's on you. I understand their idea is we want to have less e-waste by having universal chargers, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But at the same time, you know what? Just make a converter of some form or another. I don't know. I mean, I hate proprietary connectors myself, but I'm kind of on Team Apple on this one. I think this is ridiculous to tell everybody every product has to have this. What, is USB-C standard come down from heaven? Is this was this written on Mount Sinai, descended down? Moses brought the first USB-C cable and we just discovered it or something? Because frankly, USB-C does also have some of the limitations. I mean, sure, it's better than the standard Type A. It's better than the micro USB. I'll agree with that, but it's far from the universal format. But I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts. Let me know what you think about all that kind of stuff down below. And we're going to highlight my shop today. If you like something like a hat or a coffee cup with an alien with a tinfoil hat, shop.switchedtolinux.com. You can head on over there. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have mouse pads, we have coffee cups, hats, grocery bags, all sorts of fun stuff over there at shop.switchedtolinux.com. Well, guys, let's do it. Let's go to SillyVille. Heading on to SillyVille. We're going to go ahead and start up SillyVille inside of Not the Bee. And I wanted to do this one because this is sort of what happened to me, which, hey, you know, we're like, I think 12 years past the time we left. We're well beyond any form of statute of limitations. So I can actually kind of tell you that when I stopped working for the university, it was a decision made because they thought I was too hard on the organic chemistry students. You see, I gave an organic chemistry midterm paper, which was worth 50% of the grade. And after 6 weeks, they handed in their drafts. And one student took it seriously, one student plagiarized, and the rest of them gave me a single piece of paper, double-spaced, with people referencing Wikipedia and Cliff Notes. And I told the class, if you do not shape up and do better at these papers and treat it like a college, an upper level college assignment, you're all going to fail the course. And the students did not like that, and they went and cried to the administrators. And the administrator's like, well, do you want to hurt their feelings? I said, you hired me to teach chemistry, not babysit their feelings. And so we kind of made this mutual decision that I was going to leave the university. And I have not went back to teaching university since, because this is insane. So this just happened. NYU just fired this organic chemistry professor because students said his class was too hard. It's organic chemistry. It is not algebra. Okay? Algebra, pretty easy. Organic chemistry? Come on, man. If you can see 3D spaces and you understand what an SN1 and an SN2 reaction is, and you can understand how they work and how they react and what the consequences are, great. Organic chemistry is going to be easy. For most people, organic chemistry is hard. Most medical students, organic chemistry is the second hardest class right behind principles of biology. Principles of biology weed out most med students, and then organic chemistry, most of them suffer through it, but they're, oh Lord, they have a hard time with it. So this is our modern world where we want to fire professors because the class is hard. Cry me a river of tears, okay? Because I got another news story for you, okay? When I was in undergrad, we took physical chemistry, which is a graduate level course required to pass an undergraduate level chemistry curriculum. Physical chemistry has a prereq of organic and analytical and inorganic, analytical, or principles, basically all these different chemistries. You need to have it because you literally start in and you're doing complex real world mathematics. And we get to the point where I'm like, I'm struggling with this. I'm like, this is kind of hard for me. So I have a friend in the math department. So I take my physical chemistry book over to him. I'm like, can you help me solve this problem? He looks at it. He says, I want you to know we do not teach this level of mathematics to our math majors. That is the course we were in. It's too hard. No, you muscle through it. You figure it out. And if you have to figure out how to solve a triple integral in a radian vector to figure out where the electron is in the course of the molecular orbital, you do it. Don't be sending everybody to college and then have them all whine when college is hard. Oh my God, it's hard. It's hard. It's organic chemistry. It's too hard. Fail out, you loser, and go work at McDonald's and pay off your debt. Do not expect me to pay for your stupid student loan if you're too incompetent to pass organic chemistry going, it's hard. It's organic chemistry. It's supposed to be hard. You snowflake wussies. My Lord. Field of organic chemistry, Maitland Jones Jr. has a sordid reputation. He taught the subject for decades, first at Princeton, then at New York University, and wrote an influential textbook. He received awards for his teaching as well as recognition as one of NYU's coolest professors. But last spring, as the campus emerged from the Kufi restrictions, 82 of his 350 students signed a petition against him. Students said the high-stakes course, notorious for ending many dreams of medical school, was too hard, blaming Dr. Jones for their poor test scores. The professor defended his standards, but just before the start of the fall semester, the university terminated his contract. Unless you appreciate these transformations at the molecular level, I don't think you can be a good physician, and I don't want you treating patients. Concur. Concur. Completely agree. That one student that plagiarized that paper, I caught her plagiarizing 3 things in my course, and the administration forced me to let her pass. Don't go to that doctor. Nonsense. They got Jones fired, all because organic chemistry is hard. It's supposed to be hard, you stupid, moronic snowflakes. All right, well, China is now deploying machine gun armed robo dogs through drones. Good feelings are gone now. Yikes. And on to our feature story today is space ads. That's right. Space billboards could cost $65 million and still turn a profit. So the idea here is that they throw up a bunch of these satellites, they coordinate them to always be reflecting off of the sun, and then they will coordinate the satellites into the sky, so anyone looking up into the sky will now see an ad. No, thank you. Space advertising has been on the minds of every marketer on the planet since the Apollo era, yet no one has made it happen. So $65 million in all could shine ads from every corner of the earth for months and potentially make money while doing so. Of course, just because they could didn't mean they should, but let's focus on the former for now. This is Russian schools. So the paper is proposing setting up a constellation of 50 satellites at 12U CubeSat volume. I think the size of a full paper grocery bag. Satellites would enter sun-synchronous orbit, meaning they'll always be in direct sunlight as they pass around the Earth. Once in orbit, they would deploy large parabolic reflectors that would bounce sunlight down towards Earth. These could be tilted to best present the sunlight to a target area they are passing over. They'd be able to group them into words or into logos. So there you have it, guys. Space ads. Are you guys excited about space ads? Well, if you are, please leave the human race. Please. Can we we need I will support the one world government if they ban this. I mean, come on. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribe Star page, subscribestar.com/SwitchedToLinux. You can jump on over there, help support the channel, and get in on all of the behind the scenes, which we still need to talk about what some of those are going to be as I shift and move the channel into new directions. With that, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched2Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.